Hi, I'm Paola Ranova, creator of the Cardinal Method of Life Connection. And today we're going to talk about how you can stop repeating trauma and how you can be happy. So trauma is something we all deal with. I think it's important for us to discern minor trauma from major trauma. Minor trauma is something we've all gone through, and it's important to be mindful because it can happen consistently in your life. What's a minor trauma? Someone who's constantly disqualifying you. Every day, a little bit of poison in your life, right? Saying this or that to disqualify who you are or what you love. So bullying, people go through this in childhood, in their teenage days, but it also happens with adults. So observe if you have a bully in your life, if you have someone who disqualifies who you truly are. Be mindful of your relationships and do not nurture toxic relationships. So that's minor trauma. Major trauma are events. Major trauma, it consists of events that are really intensely traumatic. So an untimely death, some sort of intense interruption in a person's life, right? It could be a divorce, it could be failure, something with money, whatever it is, it's a major event. So we can sense that we have trauma when we feel overwhelmed with hopelessness or fear. And these energies create emotional triggers whenever the subject is touched. So whenever you hear the name of someone who created trauma for you, you get emotionally triggered. So that means that major trauma is still active in your energy field. The molecules of emotions are populating your inner world and actually living in the spaces between the cells of your body. So what is the strategy that the unhealthy ego and the wounded inner child tend to have to deal with trauma? It's a very unsuccessful strategy, which is to repeat it because we think repeating the same story we will have a different result. So we actually become magnets of similar stories, similar people who will hurt us in the same kind of way, and thinking that we can control the outcomes and create a different ending. But the same story is never going to end differently. So you have new faces, new places, same story when you repeat trauma, because that strategy is not going to work. You will not get a different ending if you attract the same vibration. It just never works. I'll give you an example with my own life. I had a relationship with an aggressive man, and then I was so traumatized that I decided to have a relationship with a very low-key, passive man. And they both ended traumatically because the second relationship was a reaction to the first one. So I was going to the opposite polarity of the same energy, the same vibrational frequency, the same bandwidth. So the thing is, the solution is never in our reactions. The solution is never on the level of the problem, as Deepak Chopra says all the time in many of his books and his work, right? The solution is above the problem. So in the Cardinal Method, we talk a lot about Hindu tradition. So in this specific approach, there are 3 levels of existence: consciousness, energy, and matter. So if you're dealing with something in the manifested world of matter, whatever it is that's going on in your life that is traumatic, that has been traumatic, that is repeated trauma, it's in the manifested realm. And the reason why is that energetically there is a pattern. And how do you shift it? How do you dissolve the pattern? With consciousness. So the solution is never on the level of the problem. It's not about reacting on the same level. It's about rising above it, shifting the pattern with higher consciousness. So one thing that I want to tell you is that the solution is never only in theory. Theory is important, but it's not enough. We have a whole YouTube channel here with a lot of videos to bring soul education with theory, but this is only the first step. You need to do your part and do your work with practice. Otherwise, it's never going to solve your problem. People love to listen to theory. and they know all the scriptures in spirituality. They know a lot they know so much literature, but it's all in their heads. They don't practice it. So that creates an even bigger blockage because they think they know the solution, but thinking and knowing have nothing to do with actually shifting a pattern, because that requires inspired action and doing your work. So I'm going to give you a few tips here on how you can shift those vibrations. And the first thing that I suggest is to stop repeating trauma and to be a happy person. This is something that you need to cultivate, which is breathing, breath work, and I do suggest yoga if you've gone through trauma, because when you breathe, you're releasing the energy, the molecules of emotion that are creating toxicity in your energy field and actually on a biochemical level in your body. And yoga is about stretching the body, creating inner space so that the blockages within can be dissolved and can flow and be flushed out of your body too. So breathing and yoga are very, very powerful. And I highly recommend that you do this to help you get out of repeating trauma so that you are more present. Another one is meditation. We have the Cardinal Method meditations for this exact reason, right? Cardinal Method meditations were my own personal medicine, and they worked so well for me to solve my own problems, that they have become a program that is now helping a lot of people. I'll link it here if you want to get to know it better and dive deeper. But meditation makes you present and less reactive. You are not going to react to your trauma if you meditate. So that's a second suggestion. I also suggest you journal, because journaling means you're letting it out of your heart. The arms and hands are extensions of the heart. So in conscious silence, you're writing down your feelings and you're flushing it all out. So the energy within is not going to be a magnet for similar energy to repeat trauma, to repeat the same story in your life if you let it out through journaling. Because when you journal, you expand your consciousness. And remember, the solution's never on the level of the problem. So the more conscious you are, the less you're going to be reactive, and the more you're going to be mindful of the same pattern and not repeat it in your life. So journaling is another suggestion. So these are all to flush things out. You don't want to start creating a new life, piling it up on top of the old life. You need to remove the old furniture before you bring in the new furniture, right? So these two next suggestions for you are proactive. So I suggest positive affirmation, and this is not about toxic positivity. I am this and that. It's about truly affirming your true, real, natural self. I am mindful. I am happy. I am fulfilled. Even if you don't believe it in the beginning, you can say, I am in the process of becoming a fulfilled person. Start creating your future in the present moment, because the present moment, literally, is the result of all your thoughts in the past. Whatever you're going through in the present moment is a result of everything you have thought, you have felt, you have acted on in the past. No victimhood, no martyrdom. We make choices, conscious or unconscious. And when we set ourselves up for trauma, it's highly unconscious, and you can shift it. So when you start rewiring your brain with positive affirmations, you are going to attract better life experiences. You're being proactive instead of reactive. So I highly recommend positive affirmations. Again, with mindfulness. It's not on autopilot mode, and it's not maniacal either. I'm in control of my life, I can do this. No, just calm down and just choose calm, positive affirmations. And the other suggestion is visualization. You can truly create your future when you visualize what you want for yourself. You can truly bring to manifestation consciousness, energy, matter, right? So the more your consciousness is engaged in creating a different life, less engaged in reacting to your past trauma, the more you are becoming in alignment, the more you're connecting to your aligned sacred path. So positive affirmations and visualization really help to stop repeating trauma and being a happy person. So in a nutshell, Your active part, you do your part and life will do its part, right? So what do you do to stop repeating trauma and to be a happy person? Be present. Presence is the opposite of reaction. Presence is the opposite of autopilot mode. Be present with yourself, with breathing, with yoga, with meditation, with journaling, with positive affirmations, with visualization. You will become more immune to the triggers and to the temptations of repeating past trauma. Be true to your heart. Live the truth of your heart. Be your real self. A lot of trauma has to do with pleasing others. So this is a whole other ball game that we can talk about later. One of the reasons why we have Cardinal Method constellations is for this very reason. Sometimes we love others more than we love ourselves. We are engaged in ancestral stories. We're pleasing our parents unconsciously. We're connected to our siblings. It's still a very intense past dictating the experiences of the present. So a lot can be shifted when you connect to your real self, to who you truly are, and you are present in your truth. When you do this, life will do its part. So your part, do your part actively, proactively, not just listening to theory, but actually creating your life with all the suggestions that I've given you here and many more that you can find in many other sources of consciousness expansion, I'm sure, right? And be receptive and trusting that life will do its part. This is a very deserving universe. When you do your part, life will do its part. And life will answer according to what you emanate. So when you do your part, you purify yourself and you become proactive in creating a beautiful life, life will respond in beauty. Life will respond in happiness, and trauma will be dissolved. So thank you so much for being here. Please comment what you thought about this video, like it, subscribe to our channel, and I will see you soon.